Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in yet another recorded class of the Jyotish Foundation course that we are doing, covering the very basics of Vedic astrology. So in the last classes, we have covered a lot on the yogas, and this class is again going to be the same. Okay, so we'll be covering the Surya yogas in this class, and in the last class, if you remember, if you don't, then please go back to the video of the last class. We had covered the Chandra yogas. Okay, so the Surya yogas are as important as the Chandra yogas, and there are lots of Surya yogas that we can or we have to study in our foundation, in our foundational, as a part of our foundational knowledge on Vedic astrology. Okay, but then before we begin, let's start with the daily Shanti mantra of the Upanishads. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunakatu, Sahaviryankara Vavahai, Tejasvinadadetamastu Ma Vidavishawahai, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. So we look at the Ravi yogas and or the Surya yogas, and of course they are yogas arising from the sun. So the first type of yoga that is formed by the sun is known as the Veshi yoga, and Veshi yoga is caused by the occupation of the second house from Surya by a planet other than Chandra. Okay, and such a native, Parashara says that such a native is truthful, can be lazy at times, has a long stature and a balanced outlook, but has ordinary wealth. Okay, now if this yoga is caused by benefics, then the native will be eloquent and wealthy. But if malefics are responsible for this yoga, then the native can be a destitute and will associate with wicked people. Okay, then there is the Vashi yoga. Okay, so Vashi yoga is caused by the occupation of the 12th house from the sun by a planet other than the moon, and this yoga bestows good learning, eloquence, charitable nature, sharp memory, and a very virtuous disposition to the native. Okay, and when benefics cause this yoga, the native is going to be intelligent, learned, strong, wealthy, and engaged in scientific pursuits. On the other hand, if malefics are causing this yoga, then it can lead to cruel nature, ugly looks, lack of intelligence, and excessive lust. Okay, then there is the Ubhayachari yoga. Ubhayachari yoga is caused by planets other than the moon occupying the second and the 12th houses from the sun. And this produces a native with a strong physique, capability to take great responsibility, learning, good looks, wealth, and numerous objects of pleasure. Okay. If malefics are causing this yoga, then the native is destitute, servile, and ailing. Okay. Now, there is no adverse yoga results if the sun is not associated with a planet on either side of it. Okay, so you don't, if you don't want malefic results, you don't want the sun to have any planets in the 12th house from itself or in the second house from itself. Now, there are a few important yogas that I want to describe as well. Okay, the first is, of course, Gajakesari yoga, right? So this is produced when Jupiter occupies a Kendra from the moon. Okay, or Jupiter joins the moon, right? And if one has this yoga, then the person will be famous, wealthy, learned, virtuous, and very honorable, very honored by the government in modern times. Okay, now this is an important yoga, and you'll see this happening very frequently in horoscopes, just like the Buddha-Aditya yoga is very common. So this is also a very common yoga. Okay, now this yoga will fructify only if Jupiter is not retrograde or combust. Okay, and is associated with or aspected by benefics. Okay, similarly, the moon should not be debilitated or afflicted. Okay, on the other hand, it should be under benefic influence. All right. Also, another reason why the Gajakesari yoga does not give results is because sometimes the moon can be located too close to the sun. Okay, and the results of this yoga will determine on several factors. For example, exaltation or debilitation of Jupiter and moon. Okay, so exaltation makes the planets very, very strong. Debilitation, of course, makes them weak. All right. Then as I said, Jupiter must be placed in Kendras from the moon. That means in the first, fourth, seventh, or 10th house. Okay. And then Jupiter and moon must occupy benefic positions when seen from the Lagna. That means it should either, Jupiter and moon should either be in Kendra or in Trikona from the Lagna. Okay. And then you also have to see the signs or rashis in which the two planets are located, because that will also have a big influence on, on the results of this yoga. Okay. And then you also have to look at the concurrent planetary influences on either or both of Jupiter and moon. And finally, the right dasha has to operate so that you get results from this wonderful yoga. Okay. And you have to note that Gajakesari yoga is very important for fame. If there is a strong Gajakesari yoga, it can make a person very, very famous. Okay. Now let's look at a few example charts. Let me share the screen with you. Okay. I hope you can see it. All right. So look at this first chart. So it shows an exalted Jupiter in the 10th house from the moon, producing a powerful Gajakesari yoga. And you also look at the fact that the 12th house from the moon contains several planets. Okay, so this is Anafa Yoga as well. Okay, and accumulation of planets in the 8th house will have its own special meaning, because then this house is going to gain prominence in the horoscope. Okay, so of course you have to consider the divisional charts or the Vargas for more analysis. And I'm not telling you the name, but this chart belongs to a very famous actor of Bollywood, okay, who dominated the screen world for several years in the recent past. All right. Now, you have to understand that the best Gajakesari yoga can occupy only if the moon and Jupiter, occupy Karka, which is the own sign for the moon and the exaltation sign for Jupiter. And it cannot form if both the planets are exalted or if both are in own houses. Okay. Next, you have the Amala Yoga or Amala Kirti Yoga. All right. And this yoga exists when there is a benefic occupying the 10th house from the Lagna or the moon. And such a person will be finding favors with the government, will be enjoying physical pleasures, will be charitably disposed, likable, and helpful. Now, why the 10th house? Because it is the most powerful Kendra. Okay. And if benefics are influencing this house, then one will pursue legitimate and honorable means of earning and will enjoy fame as a result. So if there is a strong Amala Yoga, then it can ensure everlasting fame for the native through work, through their career, or through their profession. Then there is the Kartari Yoga. Kartari, of course, there are two types of Kartari Yoga. One is the Shubha Kartari Yoga. That means if there are natural benefics occupying the 2nd house and the 12th house from any house, that means that is Shubha Kartari. And this yoga will ensure health, wealth, and fame for the native. Then there is Papa Kartari. Okay, Papa Kartari is when two natural malefics will occupy the 2nd and the 12th house from any house. Okay, particularly from the Lagna. And this yoga will lead to criminal tendencies, okay, ill health, and also tendency to have half-cooked or impure food. Okay, so this Pap Kartari Yoga is similar to the Durdhara Yoga that forms around the moon. Okay, so you look at this chart. If I have it, just hold on. Okay, I don't have it. All right, really sorry about that. I did not, anyways, I could not get it. All right, then we have the Parvat Yoga. Okay, Parvat Yoga again will have two variants. The 6th and the 8th houses being vacant or occupied only by benefics, and benefics occupying the Kendras. Okay, that is one variation. 6th and the 8th house are vacant or occupied by benefics, and benefics occupying the Kendras. And then the Lord of the Lagna and that of the 12th house placed in mutual Kendras and aspected by benefics. Okay. So, a person having a yoga in this yoga in the horoscope will be famous, wealthy, charitable, fortunate, will be a good speaker, a leader, learned, and lustful. Okay. Then there is the Chamar Yoga. Chamar, of course, is not a It's a derogatory term nowadays. Okay, but then it also has two variants. Okay, exalted Lagna Lord placed in a Kendra and aspected by Jupiter, or if two benefics join in the Lagna, the 7th house, the 9th house, or the 10th house. And again, such a native is will find favors with the government, will be a good orator, will be skillful, wise, and well versed in the sacred scriptures. Okay, then there is Shankhya Yoga. Shankhya Yoga is again, there are two variations of Shankhya Yoga. Okay, there are two variations of Shankhya Yoga. So the first variation is that the 5th lord and the 6th lord are in mutual kendras. Okay, and the Lagna is strong. All right. Secondly, Lord of the Lagna and the 10th house occupy, movable signs or Chara Rashis, and the 9th lord is strong. Okay. So a native having these combinations will be kind, virtuous, learned, long lived, morally sound, blessed with progeny and a good marriage, will own land and enjoy prosperity. Okay. So this is also an yoga of authority that confers power to the native or the authority to punish or discipline. Okay. Then you have the Lakshmi Yoga. So Lakshmi Yoga arises when the Lagna Lord is strong and the 9th Lord is in a Kendra identical with his own house, Mula Trikona, or exaltation. Okay. So if one is born in this yoga, then the person will be good looking, virtuous, wealthy, widely renowned, honored by the king, and blessed with, with good marriage and good progeny. Okay. Then there is a Lagnadhi Yoga. So if there are benefics in the 7th and 8th houses from the Lagna, without any malefic association or aspect, then this yoga is formed. Okay, and this gives rise to a native who is learned and comfortable. Okay, now Lagnadhi Yoga is the equivalent of Chandradhi Yoga, which was already discussed in the last class. Okay, so in a case of Chandradhi Yoga, you have to consider the 6th house from the Lagna. So and see that they must be occupied by benefics. Okay, but whatever it is, it will provide the native with a high virtue, high status, learning capability, and also the capacity to, to compile and write. Okay. Then there is Mahabhagya Yoga. Okay, Mahabhagya Yoga is different in case of male and female signs. In the horoscope of a male, in male and female horoscopes, that is, in the horoscope of a male, Mahabhagya Yoga is happens if the birth happens during daytime, if there is an odd sign rising into Lagna. Okay, for example, Aries, Gemini, and so on. If the sun is in an odd sign, the moon is also in an odd sign. So these are the conditions which must be satisfied. Every condition must be satisfied to have Mahabhagya Yoga. Okay, in the horoscope of a female, the birth should happen during night time. Okay, and there should be an even rising sign in the Lagna. Okay, and the sun is in an even sign, the moon is also an even sign. So if one is born in Mahabhagya Yoga, then the person will be pleasant to look at, liberal, renowned, of good character, will own a lot of lands and equivalent to a king. Okay, now women having this yoga in their chart are blessed with all feminine qualities and virtues, good fortune, good character, and lots of wealth. Okay, now you have to remember that the odd signs are the masculine signs and the even signs are the feminine signs. And it is very desirable to have the Lagna, Moon, and Sun in odd signs in the horoscope in case of males, and Lagna, Moon, and Sun in even signs in the horoscope in case of females. Okay, so if you look at this second chart, which is, of course, the chart of Sri Morarji Desai, who was the Prime Minister of India. Okay, so you look at the Lagna, the Sun, and the Moon, they are all situated in odd or masculine signs. And even the Navamsha Lagna, which is going to be Dhanu in this case, happens to be odd. So this birth occupied during daytime. So there is this Vipreet Raja Yoga occurring in the, in the 8th house. Okay. You look at the chart, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Just hold on. Okay, just some technical error here. Okay, I hope you can see the screen. Yes. Now look at this this chart. This is this belongs to Indira Gandhi. Okay, she was one of the erstwhile prime ministers of India, and she was regarded as a very influential and powerful politician. Okay, so Mrs. Indira Gandhi, if you look at her, she has her birth occurring at night time, and the Lagna, moon, and the sun, they are all falling in even signs. Okay, and even the Navamsha Lagna, which is Pisces, it falls in an even sign. Okay. Now, if you study this chart further, you will see that it is characterized by three sets of exchanges. There is an exchange between the Lagna Lord and the seventh Lord. There is an exchange between the Lagna second Lord and the fifth Lord, and there is an exchange between the sixth Lord and the 11th Lord. So this is a Mahavagya Yoga, which produces a having a highly fortunate combination. Okay. Then another yoga which we must talk about is Viparit Raj Yoga. Okay. So I'll be discussing this in details in the you know I have discussed this in detail in the last class. Okay, and it arises if the lords of the sixth, eighth, or the 12th houses, they occupy one of the sixth, either the sixth or the eighth or the 12th house. Okay, other than their own. Then there is the Chandra Mangal Yoga. So this is also a yoga that I was discussed previously in the last class, and it is a combination for financial prosperity. Okay. Then there is the Shakat Yoga. Shakat Yoga happens when Jupiter, located in any other house other than a Kendra, occupies the sixth, eighth, or the 12th from the moon. Okay. And this yoga is considered to be a difficult yoga because it can lead to poverty. Okay. The native will be very hardworking, will not be liked by most people, and will have fluctuating fortunes. Okay. Now remember that if Jupiter and moon, if they are in mutually adverse relationship, they are not supposed to give good results to the native. Okay. So however, you must understand that if Jupiter is located in the sixth, seventh, or eighth from the moon, then this is a part of Chandradhi Yoga. Okay. So it is not always adverse in all circumstances. Okay. Now, another aspect to be considered is whether Jupiter and moon are strong or weak. Okay. You look at this chart. Okay. You look at this chart. So Jupiter is located in the sixth house from the moon, producing a typical Shakat Yoga, but then both the planets occupy their own houses. And Jupiter additionally happens to be in its Mula Trikona sign. The Lagna is strong because of the placement of the Lagna Lord in the Lagna itself. And to whom does this chart belong to? It belongs to Sri Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the first Prime Minister of India. Okay, so it's regarded as a very wealthy politician in that age. Then there is the Chatussagara Yoga. Okay, Chatussagara Yoga. And this combination happens when all the planets occupy the four Kendras, or all the planets occupy the Chara Rashis. That means the signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Okay, and this single yoga is enough to destroy numerous Arishta yogas, and it ensures wealth and high status for the native. Okay, so let's look at this thing. Here is the chart of Shri Ram. Okay, this chart is that of Shri Ram, right? So you look at Rama's chart and see this connection. Four planets are exalted and one is located in its own house. A strong Gajakesari yoga is obtained in a Lagna, while three Pancha Mahapurusha yogas involving the Lagna, the fourth house and the seventh house are also there. And all the four Kendras are occupied by planets. Okay, so the Kendras are pillars of a horoscope. And if they are occupied, even if it's a malefic planet, it bestows immense strength upon the native. Okay, and you look at the position of Saturn, which is placed in the fourth house. It deprived Lord Rama of comforts at home, and another malefic in the seventh house, Mars, led to the separation from his wife. Okay, then there is another group of yogas which is known as Daridra Yoga. Okay, Daridra Yoga is described to happen when the seven planets from Sun to Saturn are placed in contiguous houses in a manner that a planet next in natural order is placed in the preceding house. Okay, for example, say Venus placed in the second house from Saturn, Jupiter is placed second from Venus, Mercury is placed second from Jupiter. Mars is placed second from Mercury. Okay. Moon is placed second from Mars, and Sun is placed second from Moon. So this yoga can cause extreme penury and destitution. Okay. Now, this Daridra Yoga may not be present, may not even exist in the Rashi chart. Okay. But then you have to look at the divisional charts. All right. So, for example, if such a yoga is placed in the Navamsha chart, then the person can become destitute or may suffer extreme penury after marriage. Okay. So, you have to look at, you have to look at specific positions if you don't find these yogas in the Rashi chart. Then there is the Hatha Hanta Yoga. Hatha Hanta is the condition where the moon is located in the 11th house and the sun is in the moon's sign of Cancer. Okay. So again, this is a rare yoga, but if someone has it, then the native can suffer from a lot of humiliation or even death as a consequence of some stupid action. Then there is the Nich Bhanga Raj Yoga. So this yoga indicates cancellation of debilitation. Okay. So cancellation of debilitation is supposed to produce benefic results or give rise to a Raj Yoga. Okay. Now, when does a planet achieve Nich Bhanga? Number one, when the lord of the house where the planet is placed is debilitated is in a Kendra from the Lagna or the moon. That is one condition. Okay. Then the exaltation of the debilitated planet is in a Kendra from the Lagna or the moon. That is another. Okay. The exaltation lord of the debilitated planet. Then again, I'm repeating the second point, the exaltation lord of the debilitated planet in a Kendra from the Lagna or from the moon. Okay. Then the debilitated planet associated or aspected by its debilation lord. The debilitated planet is associated with or aspected by its exaltation lord. The debilitated planet exchange houses with its debilitated lord. And then two debilitated planets aspecting each other. Okay. So these are Nisha planets, and because Nisha means bad quality. Okay. So because of their inherent weakness, they generally give adverse results during the dasha. And when a Nich Bhanga Yoga is present, then the debilitation can lead to a benefic situation. Okay. So just to give you an example, say there are two planets, Mars and Jupiter, debilitated in the Lagna in the 7th house, right? So that means the Lagna has to be of Cancer, right? So a typical Nich Bhanga is obtained here because Mars receives the aspect of the Lord of Exaltation sign, and Jupiter associates with the Lord of Exaltation sign, right? So the moon, Mars receives the aspect from the moon, right? And Jupiter is associating with the moon. Jupiter is associated with Mars, right? So this is how the Nich Bhanga is happening. Okay. Again, consider a horoscope where, say Capricorn Lagna and in the 7th house, Moon and Mars is there. So Mars obviously gets debilitated because Moon is present in its own sign of Cancer. It cancels the Nicha Bhanga. Okay. Now, next we have the Pravarajya Yoga. Pravarajya means occupation of any house by 4 planets, excluding the nodes. That means excluding Rahu and Ketu. And this is known as a sannyasa yoga. Okay, so it can lead to a renunciation or giving up of worldly attachments. Okay, and there are several combinations that lead to detachment from worldly things. Okay, say, when the lord of the 10th house associates with 4 planets in a Kendra or Trikon, the native achieves emancipation after that. That means the native reaches higher lokas. Okay. However, you don't want this combination to happen in adverse houses. Okay. And no planet participating in this yoga should be combust. Otherwise, this is a condition of yog prasht. Yog prasht means there is a fall from a good yoga. Okay. Let's look at this chart. So this belongs to Rajneesh Osho. He is regarded as one of the most influential spiritual leaders of the 21st century. And you look at this chart, 5 planets, including the Lord of the 10th house, are placed together. But this combination occurs in the 8th house of interruptions, obstacles, intrigues, and uncertainties. And if the Gita is to be believed, then such a native must return with considerable yogic merit in his karmic balance. Okay. Another combination of this Parvat Yoga. Okay, another thing in the chart. You look at the moon is in the trikana of Saturn, aspected by Mars and Saturn, or in the Navamsha of Mars, you are having an aspect of Saturn. Okay, Lord of the Moon sign is aspected by Saturn alone and by no other planet. Lord of the Moon sign is aspected by the remaining planets situated together in one house. Okay, the Lord of the Moon sign aspected by the remaining planets situated together in one house. That is. Then Jupiter occupying the 9th house and the Lagna, the Moon and Jupiter all aspected by Saturn. So such a native will earn recognition because of founding a system of philosophy. And that is what Osho did. Okay. So we have covered a lot of topic. Now we are going to go towards a very important topic, which is known as the calculation of longevity. So that cannot be done as a recorded session. We have to do it live. So hopefully from next week onwards, we'll be able to resume with the live classes. Okay. So please go through this lesson on the various Surya yogas, and please provide me with your feedback in the comment section. So that's it from me in this video. I'll see you soon in yet another video. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.